welcome. Find a comfortable space, perhaps settle back with your eyes closed, and allow the world outside to soften for a while. Thank you for choosing to spend this time here, joining me on another quiet exploration. My name is Silas, and I travel aboard the Wanderer, my gentle home on rails, seeking out the quiet corners and simple beauties of the world. It's a journey that has recently carried me through the tiled streets of Lisbon, the serene energy of Seoul, and the warm whispers of Marrakesh, always searching for moments of peace and understanding. In this chapter of my travels, the familiar rhythm of the tracks brings us towards the Spanish coast, towards a city bathed in sunlight, Valencia. Together, we will step onto platforms adorned with intricate mosaics, wander through ancient streets where the scent of citrus hangs faintly on the warm air, and discover the quiet serenity of gardens nestled in a former riverbed. We will pause to notice the vibrant colors of a bustling market hall in the calm morning light, and perhaps savor the unique coolness of horchata beneath the shade of an orange tree. This journey, like the ones before, unfolds slowly. It isn't about reaching destinations quickly, but about appreciating the moments in between, the quality of light on an old stone wall, the texture of a handmade tile, the gentle murmur of local life. I'll share my quiet observations and the thoughts that drift through my mind, hoping to offer a space for your own peaceful reflection as we experience the warm breezes of Valencia together. So, let the gentle sounds guide you and allow the atmosphere of this sun-kissed city to envelop you. If this kind of slow, contemplative journey resonates with you, perhaps consider liking this recording or subscribing to follow along. For now, though, let us simply begin. Let the journey unfold. Chapter 1. Scent of Citrus. The gentle rhythmic sway of the Wanderer is a familiar comfort, a constant hum beneath the quiet turning of pages in my notebook. Outside the large window, the Spanish landscape slides by, bathed in a light that seems brighter, clearer than before. The terrain begins to change, the ruggedness softening. I see patches of cultivated land appearing more frequently, etched with the unmistakable orderly lines of groves. Orange trees, I think, their dark green leaves forming dense canopies, though the fruit itself is hidden from this distance. Still, the idea of them carries on the air, a faint, imagined sweetness mingling with the warm scent of wood and leather inside my carriage. The sunlight streams in, falling across the worn wooden coffee table and the soft woven fabric of the armchair opposite me. It warms the surface of my hand where it rests on the window ledge. The sky is a vast, unbroken blue, stretching endlessly. There's a different quality to the warmth here, less intense than the dry heat of Marrakesh, softer than the humid embrace of Lisbon. It feels luminous. I watch the occasional whitewashed building flash past, nestled amongst the trees, hinting at lives lived slowly, attuned to the cycles of sun and season. I take a slow sip of cool water from the glass beside me. The journey itself is a meditation, a gradual unfurling. Each mile traveled brings a subtle shift, not just in the scenery, but within me too. Thoughts of Seoul's dynamic energy or Lisbon's melancholic charm recede gently, making space for what lies ahead. Valencia. The name itself feels warm, rounded, like the oranges that grow here. I picture sun-baked plazas, the murmur of voices carrying easily on the air, the feeling of ancient stone beneath my feet. My gaze drifts across the interior of my carriage, the small bookshelf filled with familiar companions, the polished wood paneling reflecting the golden light, the simple comfort of this moving sanctuary. It's a place of quiet consistency in a world of constant change. Here, I can simply observe, reflect, and allow the landscape to imprint itself on my senses. The steady clickety-clack of the wheels on the track is a soothing mantra, measuring out the distance not in miles, but in moments of observation. Now, the groves are closer, more distinct. I can almost make out the individual shapes of the trees clustered together. The land feels fertile, cared for. Small towns appear more frequently, their terracotta roofs glowing warmly in the afternoon sun. There's a sense of approaching the coast, though the sea itself remains unseen. Perhaps it's the quality of the light, the way the air seems to shimmer slightly, or just the growing feeling of openness in the landscape. I trace a pattern on the condensation of my water glass with a fingertip. There's a gentle anticipation building within me, not of excitement, but of quiet curiosity. What details will catch my eye in Valencia? What sounds will form the background melody of my days? What small moments of connection or observation will stay with me long after I've left? These are the questions that travel alongside me, unanswered yet comforting in their presence. The train begins to slow, its rhythm subtly changing. Buildings become more numerous, lining the tracks. The neat rows of orange trees give way to the more varied tapestry of suburban life. Warehouses, homes, small patches of garden flash past. The energy shifts, becoming denser, more populated, yet still retaining a sense of sun-drenched ease. We are nearing the city now. I close my notebook gently, placing it on the table beside my camera. I look out the window one last time at the passing scene, breathing in the quiet atmosphere of the wanderer. The familiar scent of worn leather and old books is a grounding presence. Soon I will step out into the warmth and light of Valencia, ready to listen, to observe, and to simply be present in this new place. The journey continues, one slow breath at a time. Chapter 2. Mosaics at Estació del Nord. The final slowing of the train is smooth, a gradual easing into stillness. A soft sigh seems to escape from the wanderer as it comes to a complete stop within the grand expanse of Valencia's Estació del Nord. I stand, gathering my worn leather satchel, the familiar weight settling onto my shoulder. Taking a breath, I step down onto the platform, and for a moment, I just stand there, absorbing the station's unique beauty. It's not merely a transit hub. It feels like an arrival hall designed to celebrate the region itself. High above, intricate ironwork supports the roof, allowing sunlight to filter down, illuminating the vast space. But it's the walls that draw my eye, covered in vibrant azulejos, glazed ceramic tiles shimmering with color. Elaborate mosaics depict scenes of Valencian life, women in traditional dress, baskets overflowing with oranges, lush landscapes dotted with palm trees. The colors are rich, deep blues, vibrant oranges, sunny yellows, earthy greens, creating a stunning, almost tapestry-like effect. It's a celebration of place rendered in tile and light. I begin to walk slowly, my footsteps echoing softly on the polished floor. The station isn't overly crowded, maintaining a sense of calm spaciousness despite the travelers moving purposefully around me. The murmur of voices is a blend of Spanish and, I imagine, Valencian, a gentle linguistic melody beneath the high ceilings. I notice the details, the ornate ticket windows framed with floral motifs, The curved lines of the benches, the way the light catches the glossy surface of the tiles. It feels welcoming, steeped in early 20th century elegance. Reaching the main hall, I pause again near a large mosaic panel depicting orange groves under a bright sun. The artistry is remarkable, each small tile contributing to the vibrant whole. It feels like a promise of the city outside, a preview of its character. There's a faint scent in the air, perhaps polish, old stone, and something vaguely sweet, maybe from a nearby pastry stand. I feel a sense of quiet appreciation for this space, a gateway that honors both artistry and function. I move towards the exit, the grandeur of the station behind me. Stepping outside, the Valencian air greets me warm, dry, carrying a hint of something floral underneath the urban scents. The sunlight is bright, making me squint slightly. The building's facade is just as impressive as the interior, a fantasy of turrets, intricate carvings, and more colorful tile work, crowned with a large clock. It stands proudly, a testament to Valencian Art Nouveau. A short line of taxis waits patiently nearby. I approach one, the driver offering a quiet nod. I give him the address of the apartment I've arranged, a place near the Turia Gardens, hoping for tranquility. The ride is quiet, the driver navigating the wide boulevards and narrower side streets with practiced ease. Through the window, I catch glimpses of the city, elegant buildings with wrought iron balconies, palm trees lining avenues, glimpses of blue sky above terracotta roofs. The taxi turns into a quieter street, lined with apartment buildings, their facades painted in warm, sun-faded colors. Large plane trees offer dappled shade, their leaves rustling gently in the breeze. There's a more residential feel here, a slower pace than the area immediately surrounding the station. It feels peaceful. My internal compass, always seeking these pockets of calm, feels reassured. This seems like a good place to settle for a while. The taxi pulls over smoothly beside a building with dark green shutters and simple, elegant lines. I pay the driver, offering a quiet gracias, and step out onto the pavement. The air here feels stiller, warmer. I look up at the building, my temporary home. It exudes a quiet solidity. Taking another slow breath, feeling the warmth on my skin, I turn towards the entrance, ready to discover the small haven that awaits inside. Chapter 3. Terracotta Haven. The heavy wooden door opens into a cool, quiet entryway. Inside, the air is immediately calmer, shielded from the bright sun and the sounds of the street. I find the apartment number and ascend a flight of wide, worn marble stairs, my hand trailing along the smooth, cool metal railing. The building feels old but well-maintained, holding on to a quiet dignity. Reaching the correct floor, I unlock the apartment door and step inside, pausing on the threshold. My first impression is of coolness and space. The floor is covered in large terracotta tiles, worn smooth over time, cool under the soles of my shoes, even through the fabric. High ceilings add to the sense of airiness, and the walls are painted a simple, soft cream. Straight ahead, tall windows are fitted with traditional wooden shutters, closed against the midday sun, but allowing thin stripes of bright light to cut across the floor, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. I walk further into the main room. It simply furnished a comfortable-looking sofa upholstered in a neutral linen fabric, a couple of wooden armchairs, and a sturdy dining table. To one side, a small kitchenette is tucked neatly away. It feels uncluttered, peaceful. I place my satchel down on the table, the sound echoing slightly in the quiet room. There's a subtle scent, perhaps of beeswax used on the wooden furniture, mixed with the faint, earthy smell of the terracotta tiles. Slowly, methodically, I begin to unpack the few essentials I carry with me: my notebook, pens, camera, a small stack of books. Arranging them feels like a small ritual, a way of grounding myself in this new space, making it temporarily mine. I place my camera carefully on the table and open my notebook, smoothing the blank page, ready for new impressions. The simple act of unpacking brings a sense of quiet order. Drawn towards the light, I walk over to the tall windows. I push open the wooden shutters, letting the full Valencian sunlight flood the room. The sudden brightness is intense but welcome. Beyond the windows is a small balcony, just wide enough for a chair or two, with a wrought iron railing. Stepping out onto it, I lean against the railing, looking down onto the street below. It's quiet, shaded by the plane trees whose leaves murmur softly in a gentle breeze. An elderly woman walks slowly by, pulling a small shopping trolley. The sound of distant church bells drifts faintly on the air. The balcony overlooks a narrow street lined with similar apartment buildings. Opposite, someone has placed pots of vibrant red geraniums on their own balcony railing, a splash of color against the pale facade. Below, an orange tree grows in a small square cut out of the pavement, its leaves a glossy dark green. The air feels warm, carrying the gentle sounds of the neighborhood muted conversation from an open window somewhere. The soft whir of a passing bicycle, the chirping of unseen birds. I stand there for a long time, simply observing, letting the rhythm of the street seep into my awareness. This feels like a genuine neighborhood, not a thoroughfare. There's a sense of calm, of lives being lived at an unhurried pace. My shoulders relax slightly. This apartment, this street, feels right. It's a haven, a quiet base from which to explore the city's gentle rhythms and hidden corners. Returning inside, I leave the shutters open, allowing the light and air to fill the space. The terracotta tiles feel pleasantly cool as I walk across them barefoot. I pour myself another glass of water from the bottle I brought, the coolness welcome after the journey. Sitting down at the simple wooden table, I look around the room, appreciating its uncluttered peace. Here, surrounded by the sounds and the light of Valencia, I feel a sense of quiet arrival, a peaceful readiness to begin exploring slowly and mindfully. Chapter 4. Sunlight on Ancient Stones, El Carmen. The morning air is soft and warm as I step out of the apartment building. I decide to walk towards El Carmen, the old heart of Valencia, without a map or a specific destination in mind. I simply let my feet guide me, turning down streets that look inviting, drawn by glimpses of interesting architecture or intriguing alleyways. The sun is climbing, casting long shadows that stretch across the pavement and climb the walls of the buildings. The streets gradually narrow as I move deeper into the historic quarter. Buildings press closer together, their facades painted in a palette of sun-bleached pastels: ochre, terracotta, pale blue, rose. Many show the patina of age, plaster chipped away in places to reveal ancient stone beneath. Wrought iron balconies adorn the upper floors, some overflowing with greenery, others displaying drying laundry fluttering gently in the occasional breeze. It feels like stepping back in time, yet simultaneously alive and lived in. I wander along cobblestone lanes, the uneven stones slightly challenging underfoot but adding to the charm. The play of sunlight and shadow is dramatic here. Alleys plunge into deep shade, only to open unexpectedly onto small sun-drenched plazas. In one such plaza, a simple stone fountain murmurs quietly, the sound of trickling water a soothing counterpoint to the silence. An old, gnarled olive tree provides shade for a couple of empty benches. I choose a bench partly in the sun, partly in the shade, and sit for a while. From here I can observe the quiet life of the plaza. A cat, sleek and black, stretches languidly in a patch of sunlight before disappearing into a narrow passage. An elderly man shuffles slowly across the plaza, head bowed, lost in thought. The doors of the surrounding buildings are heavy, wooden, studded with metal. I wonder about the stories held within these walls, the layers of history piled one upon another. My fingers trace the texture of the stone bench, warmed by the sun. I notice the small details, the intricate pattern of the ironwork on a nearby window grill, the way weeds push stubbornly through cracks in the paving stones, the faded paint on a centuries-old doorway. There's a beauty in the imperfection, in the visible signs of time and use. It feels authentic, unpolished. I pull out my small notebook and pen, not to write extensively, but just to jot down a few words, a sensory impression. Warm stone, trickling water, sun-bleached colors. After resting, I continue my meandering exploration. I pass small artisan shops tucked away in arches, their signs often hand-painted and discreet. Through an open doorway, I catch a glimpse of someone working with leather, the scent sharp and distinct for a moment before I move on. The sounds are muted here, the occasional distant scooter, footsteps echoing briefly, the cooing of pigeons hidden on ledges above. It's a peaceful labyrinth, rewarding slow steps and quiet observation. I find myself near the back of the Valencia Cathedral, its massive stone walls towering above the narrow street. I don't feel the need to go inside right now, content to admire its imposing presence from the outside, the way the golden stone seems to absorb and radiate the sunlight. The sheer scale of it contrasts with the intimacy of the surrounding alleys. It stands as a silent anchor in the heart of the old city. As the sun climbs higher, I begin to feel the warmth more intensely. I decide to find a small cafe, perhaps one tucked away on a side street, for a glass of water. The walk has been calming, a gentle immersion into the atmosphere of El Carmen. It's a place that doesn't shout its history, but lets you feel it, absorb it through the textures, the light, the quiet resonance of ancient stones. It feels good to be lost, just for a little while, in its peaceful embrace. Chapter 5. Colors of the Central Market. The next morning, I make my way towards the Mercado Central. I arrive early, hoping to experience it before the main rush, seeking the sensory details rather than the bustling energy. Even from the outside, the building is impressive, a vast structure of iron, glass, and colorful tiles crowned with domes that glint in the morning sun. It speaks of civic pride and the importance of food in Valencian culture. Stepping inside feels like entering a cathedral dedicated to produce. The air inside is cooler than the street, carrying a complex blend of scents. The sharp, sweet tang of citrus dominates, underpinned by earthy notes from potatoes and mushrooms, the salty aroma of olives and cured meats, the faint sweetness of baked goods from a nearby stall. High above, the ornate iron framework supports the glass panels of the roof, allowing natural light to pour down, illuminating the vast space and the vibrant displays below. The scale is grand, yet the atmosphere at this early hour is relatively calm. Vendors are busy arranging their wares, their movements practiced and efficient. There's a low hum of conversation, friendly greetings exchanged, the clatter of crates being moved. It's the sound of a place waking up. I walk slowly along the aisles, my eyes drawn to the sheer abundance and artistry of the displays. Pyramids of glossy oranges and lemons stand beside perfectly stacked artichokes and plump red tomatoes. Bunches of herbs release their fragrance. Stalls selling olives offer dozens of varieties glistening in brine. I pause at a stall overflowing with fruits. The colors are dazzling deep purple figs, pale green grapes, rosy peaches, bright yellow melons. Everything looks incredibly fresh, vibrant, almost luminous in the market light. I decide to buy a single peach. The vendor, a woman with kind eyes and flour dusting her apron, smiles as I make my selection. I choose one that feels perfectly ripe, its skin soft and velvety to the touch. Holding it carefully, I thank her quietly. Continuing my walk, I admire the structure of the market itself, the slender iron columns branching upwards, the decorative ceramic tiles lining the walls, and some stall fronts depicting pastoral scenes or overflowing baskets. The central dome, high above, features stained glass depicting Valencian oranges and lemons, casting colorful patterns on the floor when the sun hits it just right. It's a beautiful marriage of industrial architecture and artistic decoration. I pass stalls selling fresh fish resting on beds of ice, their scales shimmering like silver. Others offer wheels of cheese, long strings of sausages, enormous legs of jamin hanging from hooks. There's a section dedicated to spices, filling the air with exotic aromas. Even without buying much, simply observing the colors, textures, and smells is a rich experience. It's a feast for the senses, a celebration of the region's bounty. Near one of the entrances, a small cafe counter is busy serving coffee and pastries to early shoppers and vendors. The aroma of strong coffee blends with the other market scents. I consider stopping, but decide to continue my quiet exploration for now, preferring to absorb the atmosphere without interruption. The gentle murmur of commerce, the vibrant displays, the sheer beauty of the building itself, it all combines to create a uniquely Valencian experience. Finding a slightly quieter spot near a pillar, I lean against it for a moment and eat my peach. The fruit is incredibly sweet and juicy, tasting purely of sunshine. It feels like a perfect, simple moment enjoying the fresh taste of the region within the heart of its bustling market. I watch the people around me, shoppers examining produce with care, vendors chatting with regulars, the slow but steady rhythm of the morning unfolding. It's a place full of life, yet approached gently. It offers moments of quiet appreciation amidst the vibrant energy. Chapter 6. Ribbons of Green. Today, I seek out the green heart of Valencia, the Jardín del Turia. It's a unique creation, a long, winding park built entirely within the dry bed of the Turia River, which was diverted after a flood decades ago. Entering the gardens feels like descending into a different world, leaving the city bustle behind on the banks above. I choose a ramp near one of the elegant old bridges that still span the former waterway, connecting the two sides of Valencia. The air immediately feels cooler, greener, carrying the scent of damp earth and flowering plants. Down here, the perspective shifts. Looking up, I see the undersides of the bridges, architectural marvels in their own right, framing patches of bright blue sky. Cars and pedestrians move across them, their sounds muffled and distant, creating a strange sense of peaceful separation from the city that surrounds me. I begin to walk along a smooth, paved path that meanders gently through lawns and clusters of trees. The scale is vast. The park stretches for miles, a ribbon of green flowing through the urban landscape. The gardens are thoughtfully designed, transitioning between different zones. I pass areas with manicured flower beds bursting with color, then move into sections that feel more naturalistic, with tall palms, shady pines, and leafy deciduous trees creating cool canopies. Fountains splash gently in ornate basins, the sound of water adding another layer to the park's tranquility. Joggers pass occasionally, their rhythm steady, and cyclists glide by quietly, but mostly the atmosphere is serene. I find a simple wooden bench tucked away beneath a large, shady tree near a bed of fragrant lavender bushes. The air hums softly with the sound of bees visiting the purple flowers. From here, I can observe the gentle activity around me. A family picnicking on a nearby lawn, an elderly couple strolling hand in hand, children laughing near a playground further down. It feels like a true communal space, a peaceful lung for the city. Closing my eyes for a moment, I listen to the blend of sounds: birdsong, rustling leaves, distant city hum, the gentle splash of a fountain. It strikes me how cities adapt and transform. What was once a source of potential danger, the river, has been reimagined into a space for recreation, nature, and calm. There's a resilience and creativity in that act that feels quietly profound. This park isn't just ornamental. It's a functional, flowing space that connects different parts of the city in a uniquely beautiful way. It feels less like a contained park and more like a gentle green river still flowing, just in a different form. I spend a long time just sitting, observing the play of sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating shifting patterns on the path. The feeling of being slightly below the level of the city enhances the sense of sanctuary. It's easy to forget the busy streets just a few meters above. I watch a small lizard dart across the warm stone edging of the flower bed, a tiny flicker of life in the green stillness. These small details, noticed in moments of quiet observation, often feel like the most precious discoveries. Eventually, I continue my walk, following the curve of the old riverbed. I pass under another bridge, admiring its sturdy stone arches from below. The variety of plant life is impressive: fragrant rosemary bushes, towering cacti, delicate roses, ancient-looking olive trees. Each section offers a slightly different sensory experience, a new combination of scent, color, and texture. The sheer length of the park invites a slow, unhurried pace, encouraging contemplation. As the afternoon begins to wane, I find a spot near the edge of the gardens, looking up towards the city skyline softened by distance and trees. The Turia Gardens feel like a remarkable achievement, a vast, accessible oasis of peace woven directly into the fabric of Valencia. It's a place to breathe, to walk, to simply be, carried along by its gentle green current. Leaving the gardens feels like surfacing, returning to the city streets refreshed and calmed by the time spent in its peaceful depths. Chapter 7. Reflections in Blue Pools. Following the flow of the Turia Gardens eastward brings me towards a dramatic shift in scenery. The green parkland begins to open up, revealing glimpses of extraordinary white structures rising against the blue sky, reflected in vast, shallow pools of water. This is the Ciutat de les Arts i les Ciències, the City of Arts and Sciences. Designed by Valencian architect Santiago Calatrava, the complex is strikingly futuristic, a stark contrast to the ancient stones of El Carmen. I approach it slowly, drawn by its sheer scale and unconventional beauty. I decide to focus on the exterior spaces today, drawn more to the architecture as sculpture and its interaction with the surrounding water than the activities within the buildings. I walk along the wide pathways that curve around the large turquoise-blue pools. The main buildings, the Opera House, Palau de les Arts Reina Sofia, the Science Museum, Museo de les Ciencias Príncipe Felipe, the Planetarium, Le Hemispheric, resemble fantastical creatures or colossal skeletal forms, their white surfaces gleaming in the sun. The effect is amplified by the reflections. The still water acts like enormous mirrors, duplicating the sweeping curves, sharp angles, and intricate lattice patterns of the structures. On a calm day like today, the reflections are almost perfect, creating a sense of symmetry and surreal beauty. I find myself pausing frequently, captivated by the interplay of structure, light, and water. The predominant color palette is simple: the brilliant white of the buildings, often covered in trencadis, Calatrava's signature mosaic of broken tiles, the deep blue of the pools, and the clear blue of the sky. I find a low concrete ledge near the edge of one of the pools and sit down, facing the immense eye-like form of Le Hemispheric. The water laps gently just below my feet. There are other people around, walking, taking photos, but the sheer scale of the space absorbs the activity, maintaining a sense of calm openness. The sounds here are different from the old town or the gardens, less intimate, more expansive, dominated by the soft sounds of water and the distant city hum. Observing the buildings, I'm struck by their organic quality despite their modern materials. The Opera House resembles a great ship or perhaps a helmet. The Science Museum looks like the skeleton of some prehistoric whale. They seem less like static buildings and more like dynamic entities paused in motion. The bright Valencian sunlight interacts dramatically with the structures, creating sharp lines of shadow that emphasize their complex forms. I spend time just watching the light change subtly on the white surfaces, noticing how the reflections shimmer and distort slightly with the gentle breeze rippling the water. It's a very different kind of beauty from the aged charm of El Carmen, but compelling in its own way. It speaks of ambition, innovation, and a forward-looking vision. Yet, experienced quietly, focusing on the visual elements, it has a strangely calming, almost meditative quality. The vastness of the space, the simple color scheme, the mesmerizing reflections, it all encourages a state of quiet contemplation. I walk slowly across one of the bridges spanning the pools, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face. Looking down, I see the intricate patterns of the white trencadis covering the curved surfaces, millions of small, broken tile fragments creating a unique texture. It's a fascinating detail, connecting this futuristic architecture back to a traditional craft. This blend of old and new seems characteristic of Valencia itself. As the afternoon wears on, the sunlight softens slightly, casting a warmer glow on the white structures. The reflections seem to deepen in color. I feel no need to rush or to see everything. Simply being in this unique space, observing the interplay of light, form, and reflection, has been a peaceful experience. It's a place that invites you to look and look again, finding new perspectives and appreciating the quiet grandeur of its design. Leaving the complex, I carry with me the image of those gleaming white forms mirrored in the impossibly blue water. Chapter 8: Sweet Milk and Sea Air. Drawn by the thought of the nearby Mediterranean, I find myself heading towards the Malvarosa beach area. Not directly onto the sand, but to a quieter street set back slightly, where I've read one can find traditional horchaterias. I locate one easily, Horchateria Daniel, a name I'd seen mentioned. It looks simple, unassuming, with a few outdoor tables shaded by an awning. The air here carries a faint, unmistakable salty tang from the sea, mingling with the warm city scents. I choose a small table outside, feeling the gentle sea breeze brush against my skin. It's noticeably cooler here than in the city center, a welcome respite. The atmosphere is relaxed. A few locals chat quietly at other tables, enjoying the late afternoon. A waiter approaches, and I order horchata, the classic Valencian drink made from tiger nuts, chufas, water, and sugar. I also ask for fartons, the long, light, slightly sweet pastries traditionally served alongside it for dipping. The drink arrives quickly in a tall glass, looking opaque and milky white. Tiny droplets of condensation immediately form on the cool glass. Beside it are two fartons, dusted lightly with icing sugar. I take a tentative sip of the horchata. It's cool, refreshing, and surprisingly light, with a unique flavor, slightly sweet, nutty, and subtly earthy. It's unlike anything I've tasted before, quite distinct from dairy milk or other plant-based milks. It feels instantly soothing in the afternoon warmth. I break off a piece of the farto. It's incredibly light and airy, almost like a sweet breadstick, but much softer. Following tradition, I dip it into the horchata. The pastry absorbs the liquid quickly, softening further. Eating it is a pleasant combination of textures and subtle sweetness. It's easy to see why this is such a popular local refreshment, simple, refreshing, and unique to the region. Sitting here, sipping the cool horchata and nibbling on the fartons, feels like participating in a gentle local ritual. I look towards the end of the street, where I can catch a glimpse of the bright blue sea under the wide sky. The sound of waves is just a distant murmur from here, barely audible over the soft clinking of glasses and muted conversations nearby. The light has that special clarity often found near the coast, bright yet soft. I savor the experience slowly, making the drink and pastries last. There's no rush. This quiet moment feels restorative. The combination of the unique taste, the gentle sea breeze, the relaxed atmosphere of the horchateria, and the glimpse of the ocean creates a sense of deep calm. It connects me, in a small way, to the specific tastes and rhythms of Valencia, rooted in its agriculture, the tiger nuts, and its proximity to the sea. Finishing the last of the horchata, I lean back in my chair, simply enjoying the feeling of the warm air and the soft breeze. The other patrons seem equally relaxed, lingering over their drinks, chatting easily. It's a scene of simple, everyday pleasure. I feel a quiet gratitude for these small discoveries, these moments of connection found in trying a local specialty or observing the gentle pace of life in a neighborhood cafe. Paying the modest bill, I offer another quiet gracias and slowly walk away. I stroll towards the beachfront promenade for just a moment, not to join the crowds, but just to stand and look at the expanse of the Mediterranean Sea stretching out towards the horizon, its surface glittering in the late afternoon sun. The scent of salt and sea is stronger here. Taking a deep breath of the sea air, I turned back towards the city, carrying the cool taste of horchata and the peaceful feeling of the coast with me. Chapter 9. Lingering Sunlight. The late afternoon sun casts long, soft shadows as I take a final slow walk through the neighborhood surrounding my temporary apartment. I retrace familiar steps, passing the small bakery where I bought bread yesterday, the quiet plaza with the orange tree, the building with the vibrant geraniums on its balcony. The streets are peaceful, bathed in the warm, golden light that signals the end of the day. Familiar sights now seem imbued with a gentle nostalgia, even after only a short stay. The sounds are softer now, the distant chime of church bells marking the hour, the murmur of conversation from an open window above, the rustle of leaves in the plane trees as a warm breeze drifts through. The intensity of the midday sun has faded, replaced by a comfortable warmth. I pause on a familiar corner, watching the light catch the textures of an old stone wall, highlighting its imperfections and history. There's a beauty in this quiet end-of-day light, a sense of calm settling over the city. I think about my time in Valencia, the vibrant colors of the Mercado Central, the cool tranquility of the Turia Gardens, the ancient stones of El Carmen, the futuristic gleam of the city of arts and sciences, the unique taste of horchata by the sea. Each experience feels like a distinct thread woven into a tapestry of warmth, light, and gentle rhythms. Valencia feels like a city comfortable in its own skin, blending its rich history with a relaxed, modern outlook. Returning to the apartment, the terracotta tiles feel cool underfoot again. The room is filled with the warm, indirect light of the setting sun filtering through the tall windows. I begin the slow, methodical process of packing my leather satchel. Folding clothes, gathering my notebook and pens, securing my camera. Each action feels deliberate, mindful. It's not just packing items, but packing away the experiences, ensuring the essence of the place travels with me. I pause, holding my notebook. Flipping through the pages, I see the brief notes, the simple sketches, the observations captured during my walks. They are small anchors to memory, fragments of sensory experience. Sunlight on mosaics, scent of citrus, cool stone bench, blue reflections. They serve not as a comprehensive record, but as gentle prompts, triggers for the feelings and atmospheres I encountered. Before closing the satchel, I walk out onto the small balcony one last time. Leaning on the railing, I look down at the quiet street below. The shadows have lengthened further. The sky above the rooftops is beginning to soften towards dusk. The air is still warm, carrying the faint scent of blossoms from somewhere nearby. I listen to the familiar neighborhood sounds, etching them into memory. There's a touch of melancholy in leaving, as there always is, but it's gentle, mixed with gratitude for the time spent here. Closing and latching the shutters feels like a final act of closure within the apartment. The room darkens instantly, filled now only with the ambient light filtering around the edges. I run my hand over the smooth, cool wood of the table one last time. The apartment has been a peaceful haven, a quiet backdrop to my Valencian explorations. Standing in the stillness, I take a final slow breath, absorbing the quiet atmosphere of the terracotta haven. With my satchel packed and resting by the door, I feel ready. Ready not necessarily for the next destination, but for the transition, for the return to the familiar embrace of the wanderer. Valencia's warmth, its light, its gentle breezes, these sensations feel imprinted within me, I take one last look around the quiet room, then turn and step out, closing the door softly behind me, ready to carry the lingering sunlight of Valencia onward. Chapter 10. Carried on the breeze. The familiar grandeur of Estació del Nord feels different now, imbued with the memories of arrival. The colorful mosaics seem like farewell emblems as I walk across the polished floor towards the platform where the wanderer waits patiently. There's a quiet efficiency to my movements, born of long practice. Finding my carriage, I step aboard, the familiar scent of aged wood, leather, and old books instantly welcoming, a grounding contrast to the city scents I'm leaving behind. Settling into my usual armchair by the large window, I watch the platform scene outside. People saying goodbye, others waiting expectantly, the low murmur of station announcements. It's a place of constant transition, a microcosm of journeys beginning and ending. Then, with an almost imperceptible smoothness, the wanderer begins to glide forward, pulling away from the platform, away from the station's ornate beauty. Through the window, the station building recedes, its distinctive towers shrinking against the backdrop of the city. Valencia's rooftops slide past terracotta tiles, church spires, modern apartment blocks, a final panorama unfolding as the train gathers gentle speed. I watch until the city becomes a blur, gradually giving way to the familiar landscape of the surrounding countryside, the fields and groves bathed now in the soft light of early evening. The steady, rhythmic clickety-clack of the wheels on the tracks resumes its soothing cadence. It's a sound I associate deeply with peace, with reflection, with the gentle unfolding of time. Inside the carriage, the lamps cast a warm, soft glow, creating a cozy sanctuary against the deepening twilight outside. The journey continues, carrying me away from Valencia, but also carrying Valencia within me. I reach for my notebook, opening it to a fresh page. I don't write much, just a few words. Valencia warmth, light, oranges, blue water, gentle breezes. Beneath it, I add horchata y fartons. Simple words, but they hold the resonance of the experiences. I think of the sunlight on ancient stones, the cool shade of the Turia Gardens, the vibrant colors of the market, the reflections in the modern pools, the taste of sweet tiger nut milk near the sea. Leaning my head back against the soft cushion, I close my eyes for a moment, letting the gentle motion of the train soothe me. There's a feeling of contentment, of a journey segment completed peacefully. Valencia offered its beauty quietly, without demanding attention, rewarding slow observation. It felt like a city bathed not just in sunlight, but in a certain lightness of being, a warmth that extended beyond the temperature. Outside, the landscape darkens, the details blurring into silhouettes against the fading sky. Soon only the occasional distant light will be visible. Inside the wanderer, all is calm. The gentle hum of the engine, the soft rhythm of the wheels, the warm lamplight, it's a familiar embrace. I feel held by the journey itself, suspended between places, moving steadily towards the unknown next chapter. For now, I simply rest, allowing the memories of Valencia to settle. The scent of citrus, the feel of the warm breeze, the taste of horchata, these sensory fragments remain vivid. The train carries me onward, lulled by its gentle rhythm, carrying the essence of the warm breezes, the lingering sunlight, and the quiet beauty of Valencia into the soft darkness of the night. The journey continues, peacefully, inevitably.